This episode is sponsored by Monkey Stuff. Monkey Stuff makes things for makers. We're inspired every day by the craft and creativity of makers, and design and manufacture tools and accessories to try to make your making life a bit more delightful. Our products are designed in California, by makers and for makers, and manufactured in the USA. Check out our line of pottery accessories and tools at monkeystuff.com. Follow us on Instagram to see what we're up to in our studios, and keep on making great things.
Hey, this is Erin with Cornell Studio Supply located in Dayton, Ohio, exclusive distributor of Jen Allen templates and Put a Lid on It t-shirts. Find all your pottery and ceramic sculpture needs, including the largest stock of GR pottery forms at cornellstudiosupply.com. At Cornell Studio Supply, we are owned and operated for potters, by potters.
Hello, my name is Kathy King, and welcome to the For Flux Sake podcast. I'm coming to you from the Harvard Ceramics program in our fair city, Allston, Massachusetts. I'm here with Rose and Matt Katz of the world-famous Ceramic Materials Workshop, and they are ready to answer your burning questions about clay and glaze. Well, howdy, Matt and Rose.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
I feel like we were just together just the other day. It was longer than that, but it was so much fun seeing you at NCECA.
We so traumatized it was burned into your brain.
Well, the whole experience is a lot with the conference, but it was such a blast.
It is. It's always so much fun and so exhausting, and so much comes out of it. So,
And got to see all of our listeners, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
And y'all made a new kind of announcement, right?
We did.
Ooh, do tell.
Our new project that we announced in NCECA is called Ware, and it's our customizable glazes.
You know, for years, people have come to us and like, oh, you guys should make commercial glazes. And we're always like, you know, what's out there is what's out there. And we don't really have anything to add to that conversation. But things have changed because one of the things we've been working on for years is, can we make customizable commercial glazes? And that's what Ware really is, that we are creating glazes that you want, that you design, and that you can make exactly for your work. So it's kind of amazing because what we've done is that we've built out this app called Ware, and in there you can literally pick whatever color you want, and you can do it however you want. You can take a picture of a flower or a bird or whatever, and then pick a color from that, and we'll make the glaze that has that color. It's really insanely incredible. You can do it from just a color swatch. You can describe it. You can say, like, I want the perfect chestnut brown, and we'll come up with exactly the chestnut brown. And if you don't like the shade you picked up with, you can tweak it and get it to more of the shade that you want. And
or if you have problems with it, you can go back to the app and figure out what your problem is.
That's what's even crazier is if you've got crazing, you can come back to us and say, this is crazing on my clay body, and tell us the clay body, and maybe give us a picture of the crazing, and we'll revise the glaze for your clay body performance. So it's literally your custom glaze, how you use it. Or say you got the color, but you want your purple to be a little bit more red. You can come in, take the existing recipe, tweak it to get it exactly how you want it. So it's literally your color palette, your glaze palette. And right now we're just starting with glossy glazes, but in the future we're going to offer matte glazes and effect glazes, but we're going to offer them at whatever temperature you want. Say you work at cone 5, say you work at cone 3, we can make the glazes that you want for you at that temperature, with the color, with the performance, with everything that you want from a commercial glaze, but with customization as if you were making it yourself. And this is such a revolution that we've able to put together. We're really, really excited about it.
So if I have a glaze that's like entirely made of Custer feldspar, EPK, and Gersley borate, can you fix that?
It doesn't even matter. We can make the glaze that you want. So just tell us what that glaze, what you want it to look like. So we're, like we said, we'll just start with glossy glazes, but after you get your first batch and say you want it glossier, we can do that. You want it runnier, we can do that. You want to, again, tweak the color, fix the flaws, we can do all of that so that it will literally be yours. And you can even save it to your glaze recipe. So that's just yours. You can make it private if you want. And if not, it'll go out to the public and other people can try that color that you came up with. And like I said, right now we're just starting with the glossy glazes, but eventually it'll be, all the matte glazes and all the effect glazes and all the different things. And under glazes, that's something we're going to launch too, so that you can make your entire ceramic palette and make it yours and tweak it and fix it. But you don't have to know any of the chemistry. We are doing all of the chemistry for you based on your telling us what you want.
That sounds like magic. It really does.
Matt magic.
It's Matt magic. Okay.
Well, what I will say is, there's an old riff out there that science that is so complex is indistinguishable from magic. And that's what we've done. We have taken all of our decades of experience of science and finally been able to synthesize it in something that we can communicate with you to make the glazes that you want. But you don't have to know glazes. It is going to change everything. And this is why we think it's different. It's not just, the commercial glazes on the shelf and you get to pick the one purple and, 2 shades of red. It's literally tweak the shade of red to be the perfect level of orange, or get your perfect shade of pink, or whatever you want it to be. Any color that we can make under the color spectrum that we can make for you. And it is literally what everyone has always wanted from glazes. No muss, no fuss. And it's chemistry without chemistry. It's kind of amazing. Like, I'm even shocked myself working with it and going, wow, it actually does this.
Do we get a huge discount, Kathy and I? Because we're important to you.
Right?
We're really important in your labs.
We will hook you up. We will get you what you need. No problem. We'll do the O4 glazes for Ben. We'll get some magical clears for Kathy. We can get exactly what you want, because it doesn't have to be exciting.
It's only glossy so far. So when I want my completely clear matte glaze,
that's not a thing, Kathy. Have you not been paying attention for all these years?
Well, I know. It's the dragon I've been chasing for 25 years.
It's a dragon because it doesn't exist, just like dragons.
Well, okay, it's a unicorn.
They don't exist, Kathy.
One of those exists, I'm pretty sure.
It's the Bigfoot of glazes.
Like that mermaids are actually manatees, okay? We'll get you a manatee.
Well, I haven't chased a mermaid
dugong
in a while. It's been a minute.
Dugong, absolutely. So right now, you can go to wareglaze.com and we will announce when the app goes live. So it'll be an app. You can do it on a regular website too. But right now, we are getting ready for registration. So if you go to wareglaze.com, you can sign up and you'll get the announcements as soon as it's live, because it's not too far away. It's coming fast. We're just in the final stages of putting everything together. And so we can't wait to show it to all of you.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome. All right. I'm excited. I'm going to sign up tomorrow. Let's see. But let's get to the task at hand. And we have so many wonderful questions queued up.
Questions.
I know, so many. So we are going to start with Ian from Silverton, Colorado. And this is yet another question about the controversial fast firing. Take it away, Ian.
Hello, Kathy, Rose, and Matt. My name is Ian Tanner. I own the Silverton Pottery Company in just adorable Silverton, Colorado. I went with some advice from Matt that firing fast is the same as firing slow. Because I was like, yeah, I can save 4 hours, whatever. I did. And when I opened the kiln, I was terrified. Because everything looked wrong. None of the glazes were correct. Glazes that I fired with for years were flaky and just looked like they hadn't, melted is the word I'm going to use. Matt, correct me, right? But I saw that it was closer to the color of, I was worried if it was underfired or overfired, and I just looked and analyzed slightly just with my little knowledge, and I realized that it looked closer to bisque ware than it did to burnt ware. So I knew it was underfired, or I guessed it was underfired. So I just opened my kiln. I left everything in the kiln. I didn't change anything. I didn't unload it. I just looked at the top shelf. And I just opened the kiln after I fired a long firing. or medium firing. I always fire medium instead of fast. I just go with the factory set because I'm not as knowledgeable as I would like to be. Anyway, long story short, everything's great. I refired it at medium speed and everything's great. Fast was an underfire. Medium was a perfect fire. I do not have an S couple. I have a Scut, relatively new, 5 years old Scut kiln. I just have the thermocouple that they gave me, but it fired perfectly. So I'm just wondering what could have been done. Maybe how could I troubleshoot? Because I would like to fire fast, but it didn't work. So yeah, please help.
Well, Lord Celsius, have we found a chink in the armor, perhaps?
Not even close.
No, not
even
close. Yeah,
Nope.
not close.
Nope. So there are two things that are going on. First of all, if the glazes were coming out flaky, that just didn't even get anywhere near temperature. Why that didn't happen, I can't say. But the difference between a fast fire and a medium fire, that is not enough to make glazes under fire to that degree. So there was some sort of a failure in your kiln. Again, there's a million things. You mentioned the thermocouple, that certainly can be a problem. But yeah, an underfired, if there was something wrong between fast fire and a medium fire, then you would see a minor discrepancy in the quality of the melt, not like completely and utterly underfired. So there certainly is that. The other thing is when you refire, you're actually starting the chemistry off from where the first kiln left off. So actually that is slightly affecting that firing temperature. But even if those aren't the case, let's say that your kiln went perfectly. You said you used the fast fire button. And boy, oh boy, does that come to bite you in the butt. Because when I say I fire fast, I never say I used the fast fire button. I say I have a fast firing, but I do not use that button because that button is a problem. I write my own programs, Kathy. I'm flying loose and fancy free.
I know, but when you're advising the public.
Well, he doesn't
this
say
is not a me problem. This is a Bartlett problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna absolutely call them out. I 100% can do it. I've got the charts and the graphs. They're literally sitting here open on my monitor. If we remember, we'll put them up on our CMW blog for this. But here is the inherent problem with what happened. That is, okay, so what's the difference between a medium firing and a fast firing according to the program, right? The issue is when you look at the cone chart, you have got different heating rates and you have got slow and medium and fast. And when you are changing kiln programs, theoretically, what it is doing is that it is changing the heating rate for the last 100 degrees C, 180 degrees F, although Bartlett stretches it a little bit further. We can talk about that. I think there's actually 150 degrees F of the firing. So theoretically, a medium firing under Bartlett's control, and Bartlett makes all the kiln controllers in the US. So all the ones, even the custom Scut ones, are really just branded Bartlett controllers. What they are doing is that the program says, I'm going to fire at whatever heating rate. I can tell you here. Let me look at it real quick. So a medium firing from Bartlett fires at 222 degrees C per hour. That's 400 degrees F to 1083 C, 1982 F. So that's the first major stage of the firing. The second stage is 67 degrees C, 120 degrees F to 1222 or 2232 F. Okay. Medium heating rate, if you look at it, is 60 degrees C per hour. So they're slightly going past that medium heating rate, but we'll just call that good because they're using the Fahrenheit concepts, and Fahrenheit is 108. They go to 120. Why? I don't know. Make it nice and round, whatever. But here's the problem, y'all. That's their medium firing. When you look at Bartlett's medium firing, and this is the back of every single kiln manual that you have, RTFM, if you know what I'm talking about, read the freaking manual. This is published.
Oh, you put it nicely.
You can look at it. And here is the fast firing program from Bartlett. you're going at 317 degrees C, 570 F to, again, 1083, 1982. That's your first stage. So that's going a little bit faster, but honestly, you went from 1222 to 1317. That's not a huge jump. That's not the fast part. What they should be doing, though, is that if you go to the cone chart, the second stage should be at 150 degrees C per hour to 1243 for cone 6. Okay, and whatever that is for Fahrenheit. I don't have the Fahrenheit chart in front of me. So you should be going 150 degrees C per hour to 1243. Is that what Bartlett does? No, it is not. Because in fact, they go to only 111 degrees C, 200 degrees F per hour to, wait for it, are you ready? Are you ready? 1222. The cone 6 temperature at the medium rate. So in fact, the fast firings, the default fast firings on Bartlett's controllers are underfired. They actually do not hit the actual temperatures because they are going too fast. So actually, they are effectively firing way colder than the medium firing, because it's not about temperature, it's about temperature and rate. So by firing faster to the same temperature, you're actually just firing colder by default. So the program itself is faulty, and you should not use their fast firing programs. When I say I fire fast, I fire 300 degrees C per hour to 100 degrees under peak. So for a cone 6, that would be 1143. And then I will switch to 150 degrees C per hour to 1222. And that will give me a perfect cone 6. And we're doing a bunch of those. They work fine. But if you are relying on that button that says fast firing, you are destined to fail. Why have they done this? I have no freaking idea. It does lead to something that I will commonly say, which is don't trust the kilns to know anything about firings. The kiln companies are fine. They know how to build a kiln, which means they know how to assemble bricks, and they know welding, and they know wattage calculations. That's all well and good. But let's be honest. Do they actually know anything about the firings? And Rose and I were just on a consulting job where we were looking at some of the most fanciest kilns in the world. And the problem that this company was having was that they were trusting the kiln companies with their firings, and their firings kept failing. And we looked at their firings, we're like, these are wrong. These are just wrong. Because that's not what kiln companies know. And Bartlett's not even a kiln company. They just make controllers that control the electronics in the kiln. So they're putting in programs that I don't know where they came from, but this is wrong. This is a bad program, and it is going to give you under firing. So it's not wrong.
So could Ian compensate for the temperature and still do a fast fire?
Right. Yes, you have to write your own program.
So you have to just customize that fast. Mm-hmm. Could you customize the fast fire program button?
You can't edit their programs as far as I know, but you can write custom programs all day long. And in our kilns, Rose, that we basically just use custom programs, and my programs are dumb. Like I said, Ian, you want my fast firing program? I just told you. You go 300 degrees C. Sorry, you have to translate to F. That I'm not going to do for you. 300 degrees C per hour to 100 degrees under peak. Right. So that's going to be, my peak is going to be 1243. So 100 degrees under, that's 1143. And then I go 150 degrees C per hour from 1143 to 1243. And that's it. 2 segments done. And that will get you to.
And then just a natural cool.
Yeah, just let it cool. But it is the time plus temperature. So when you fire faster and you don't compensate for the fact that the temperature needs to be higher, yep, firings are going to fail. And that's a bummer. I'm sorry, Ian. I'm not trying to revel in it. But like it is one of these things that everybody assumes that the fast firing is going to be fine and dandy, but like it's not. There's a flaw built into that system. And, everybody trusts that the program on the kiln is going to know how to program a kiln. Well,
but the computer can't program itself yet? Come on.
Well, we'll get there. But
they can't read my mind of what program I want?
I know. I've talked to some people that could do it. That they could make that happen. But that's another
they could read my mind. Can they take my grocery list and put it in my app?
Maybe not the mind reading, but definitely being able to program things easier and better. That's a reality.
Just give it a minute. Well, I hope that helped, Ian. I certainly do. And you were told the truth. Mm-hmm. So some of us who may disagree will just keep it to themselves and go on to the next question. Today's episode is brought to you by the Rosenfield collection of functional ceramic art. The collection exists as an online source for research and inspiration, featuring photos of thousands of objects made by over 800 artists. The images are high quality and can be used with no permission required. To find out more, visit www.rosenfieldcollection.com.
Glazes don't make sense, but that's why Rose and I are here at ceramicmaterialsworkshop.com, helping translate glazes for real ceramicists like you. So join us for our brand new class starting October 1st. It's for everyone from beginners to masters. We clear up all the mysteries of glazes to make them work for you. Join us at ceramicmaterialsworkshop.com for making glazes make sense.
All right. Our next question comes from Tani from northern Sweden. And this is a text question. So I'm going to read it. So I was told by my supplier, a Swedish supplier, last year, the EU banned products containing boron due to environmental concerns. Therefore, it is impossible to buy any boron containing raw materials like Gillespie borate, colmanite, or ulexite. I've not heard that one. Ulexite. Oh, okay.
I like that one.
And that's where it ends.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, well, when Rose was reading this, because Rose found this question.
Yeah. And
she just about flipped
Is
the
it
lid.
a question?
It's an observation.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, what do you mean you're not importing any products with boron in them?
Wow. So what did you find out?
So yeah, this is crazy go nuts. When Rose first brought this to me, I'm like, did she accidentally write barium? And that they were afraid of barium.
He's like, are
something
you
like
sure it said boron? I said, yep.
It said boron, and she mentions Gillespie borate and colmanite, and ulexite, which are all borate minerals. So
Imagine Gersley's in there too.
yeah, well, Gersley.
Well, I mean, Gersley's,
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, this sounded nuts. So I reached out to one of our longtime CMW community members, Asa. And Asa is a really smart glaze person in Sweden. She just published a book on glazes. I'd give you the name, but it's in Swedish. I can't speak the Swedish. But Asa's been with us for a long time, and she's super smart. So I reached out to her and said, I talked to Asa almost every other week, and she never once mentioned this. So I had to reach out again and say, like, what is this talking about? So here is the deal. So Asa said about 3 years ago that the EU issued regulations on the mineral borax. Now let's take even a step back. Borax is a naturally occurring borate material. You will find it in a very rare glaze recipe, but borax is really not to be used. It is highly water soluble, and that is inherently an issue when we're working with
I've
glazes.
seen those in raku glazes.
Exactly right.
Borax, yeah.
My first raku glazes I ever used, we went to a local potter. This was back when I was in high school, and he made up his raku glaze on the spot, and he literally grabbed 20 Mule Team Borax, the soap that you can use. We still use it. It makes our towels super fresh. He grabbed 20 Mule Team Borax.
Thanks for the ad.
It's good. No, but doesn't it help with our towels? It totally does.
It does. Yes. I would say it does a good job.
Yeah, better than regular soaps. But the raku glaze was 20 Mule Team Borax and kaolin and then copper carbonate. And that's all that it was. And then we raku'd with it all day long. And so it works for raku. You'll see it in some other glazes, not particularly good. But that water solubility is why it works as a soap, right? For cleaning things. That's why you can literally buy it in the States in the grocery store. It's 20 Mule Team Borax. You can buy it and put it in your glaze lab. But it's highly water soluble. And Asa is saying that she thinks it had something to do with a greater regulation about the use of soaps and how soaps contaminate groundwater. I think about this all the time because we live on a septic tank. And our soaps that we use for washing our bodies, for washing our dishes, for washing our clothes goes right into our septic tank, and then that goes out to our local water. And so it seems like there may have been regulations associated with borax and those types of greater environmental impacts. Not that it's dangerous, not that it's anything like that.
And Sweden's got a huge, like, water is everywhere in Sweden.
Everywhere.
Like, yeah.
Huge system of lakes, a huge coastline, all of that type of thing. So what she continues to say is that the Swedish retailers went nuts and stopped selling quote unquote dangerous boron products. And everything was taken off the shelves, included Guernsey borate and colmanite and the ulexite, the Gillespie borate. What this means is that the ceramic suppliers don't know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what the hell the regulations are, and they just go to the freak out technique. Okay. So they were not paying attention to what the regulations were. They were not paying attention to why things happened, and they just took the reactionary approach 3 years ago, mind you. So then she says, as usual, with no concerns at all about how to regulate firing temperatures, how you're going to deal with not having boron or any of those things. She says they did come to their senses after a while, and now we have some of them available again. But Swedish retailers are terrible at bringing in things like Fritz and keeping those stocks in general. So basically, what Asa is saying is certain retailers freaked out and then completely lost control of what the narrative actually is and what the real dangers are. Now, I will give them a little bit of leeway. There could have been regulators threatening things. We know governments do these things and they get things wrong, but it sounds like there was a massive overreaction and then a lack of correction on that part because, in the original post, they were told that it was last year. It wasn't. It was several years ago. We were told that it was a ban on borates. It wasn't a ban on borates. It sounds like it was a ban on borax. And again, all those types of things. And then they haven't updated it. Again, I want to talk to all the retailers in the audience. If you run a ceramic retail store, stop talking. Just stop talking.
Oh, no.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It is just that the myths and the rumors travel so quick. And you guys are the first line of information. And the community relies on all of you for their information. And unfortunately, in a lot of retail stores, I don't know who answered the phone or answered the email, but it might be the newest, most inexperienced person on your list. I don't know. It might be the owner. But when y'all go and start to spout out stuff, without great information, this becomes a problem. Kathy, I'm going to drag you into this one because you just wrote us this week with an announcement that a material was dead, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it came down the pipeline, right? Somebody said to somebody.
So do you want me to reveal it? Okay.
You don't have to name names, but
okay. No, I'm not going to name names. So no, the thing was like we're trying to test all our glazes for the substitution for EPK. So I had my operations person and I had our staff do both Pioneer and Tile 6. And then it was when I went online, I noticed, and they had done hours and hours and hours of work. And I'm reading that Pioneer isn't available anymore, that it's no longer mined, quote unquote, by a major supplier. So I'm like, Matt, Rose, and apparently we're not sure.
I went to talk to my people in the supply chain and they said, say what now? What on earth are you talking about? And these are people that are higher up than the people you were hearing it from.
Right.
But this is how and this is why again, the suppliers, we love you. We live with you. We buy from you. We ask you to support our show, and it shows guts to support our show. But it is still important that, once again, back to our previous question, the community is trusting the kiln companies to have firing programs that understand firings. They are trusting ceramic supply stores to know about the supply chain because they are coming to you for real information. And the reason why I get so spicy, as my children say, is because they get bad information from these information streams. And that is a huge problem. So, I mean, honestly, we have to be spicy because we need you all to do the best that you possibly can. Double check those sources. Call the supply houses before you say anything. Call other retailers and find out if that's true. Contact anybody that you can that has relevant information before you start spouting it. And it's the same with train your employees for that. But we have to get the information stream better so that everyone's lives are better. Because, yeah, just telling an entire nation that boron has been banned, it's not true. It's not real. It's kind of based on some things that happened, but it's not going to help anybody to say that, that this is the reality of the situation when it's just not. When honestly, that might be this store, but it sounds like they could go to another store in Sweden and get exactly what they needed.
Yeah, but we also have to enter into the conversation that we are in such a time of flux, of change, of information that is not flowing properly right now. So our materials, there's lots of materials that are just dead and gone, and the fact that there's replacements that nobody's ever heard of before, and that there we have this new replacement, now we can't get this. So it's like our diversity of material is slowly dwindling because of our manufacturing here in the US is not here anymore to support that diversity. So we are a time of flux and have to be diligent about communicating and talking about what is happening. We're not islands. We need to all, talk about what's going on in our material universe. It's not an easy conversation to have because there's lots of different information, but the more talking about it that we do is the better.
Well put, Rose.
The state of flux is I can say at the ages of us here on the show, we've lived.
Don't age us. Don't.
I know.
No.
But not to relive anyone's trauma, but I can remember in our adulthoods, we have lived through two major otherworldly things, 9/11 and COVID, where in the aftermath, because things were changing and things were dangerous and things were weird, everyone freaked out, and all the things that you heard that were true and that weren't true, and the rumors and the myths. Yeah. And literally ceramics is going through this kind of moment right now because EPK disappears, and Custer Feldspar disappears, and all the things that have happened with grossly boron, and it makes the information streams more difficult, but it also makes people more triggered and reactionary about negative things, and that doesn't help anybody.
Well, it's always a mystery. Never
a dull moment.
Yeah, never a dull moment. But it is a great reason why we come together and do this podcast, which is, so important. And loving our people on Patreon as well. So that's been a big plus. But that is all the time we have for this episode, y'all. So until I see you again, au revoir.
Bye, Kathy.
Till next time, Kathy.
Well, folks, that's it for this week's episode of For Flux Sake. I'd like to thank the listeners who submitted questions this week. And if you want your question answered on the show, shoot us an email at forfluxsakepodcast@gmail.com. So join us next time. And when in your studio, remember what Rose always says.
Always remember to test, test, test. This is a test of the emergency glaze system. Beep.
Hi, everyone. If you've been leaning into our glaze deep dives to troubleshoot your studio struggles or just geek out over oxide ratios, we'd love to invite you to join us over on our Patreon.
Think of it as the flux that helps our creative process flow a little more smoothly.
Producing for Flux Sake takes a lot of behind-the-scenes chemistry, from research time to tech costs. By becoming a Patreon member, you're directly helping us keep the show independent and technical.
By supporting us at the $5 a month tier, you get access to our Patreon Flux U bonus episodes, archived for Flux Sake Season 1 and Season 2. And you get priority submission for your questions from the team to answer in future episodes. Oh, and along with exclusive for Flux Sake merch.
We know how quickly the cost of cobalt adds up, so we've kept our tiers accessible. Every bit of support means we can spend more time answering your questions and less time worrying about the business side of things.
So check out our link on our show notes or visit patreon.com and keep the conversation and the kilns firing.